So, you know when you're stopped at a busy intersection and you see those brightly colored handwritten signs stapled to the telephone poles?
Oh, the we buy houses for cash ones.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that just say "We buy houses for cash" in like big thick marker. I mean, for most of us, they look like a total scam, right?
Right, they look like a piece of cheap plastic just stuck in the dirt.
Totally. They seem so disconnected from, the polished world of regular real estate with the glossy websites and aggressive staging. But, and this is what we're getting into today, behind those crude marker signs is actually a massive, highly lucrative parallel economy.
It really is. And the scale of that parallel economy is just fascinating to analyze because, we operate under this cultural assumption that the traditional retail housing market works for everyone.
Right.
But when you actually look at the transaction data, there's this huge sublayer of the market that operates completely outside of regular bank loans and 30-day escrows.
And decoding that alternative transaction model is our mission for today's deep dive. So, welcome to the deep dive, by the way. Today, we are looking at source material straight from the front lines of the Nevada real estate market.
Yeah, specifically a collection of internal articles and company blogs from a Las Vegas real estate investment firm.
Right, an actual direct cash buyer. And these sources, they focus really heavily on two specific groups of people. First, you have older retirees who are desperately trying to downsize.
And then the second group is distressed homeowners facing immediate financial hurdles.
Exactly. So we are going to extract the hidden logistics of this, look at the true costs, and really map out the intense psychological stress involved in just offloading a massive physical asset.
Well, what stands out immediately when you read these materials is that it demands a radical shift in how we think about homeownership.
How so?
Like culturally, we're conditioned to view buying a house as locking in this permanent lifetime asset.
Right, yeah. The ultimate American dream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these sources analyze the home through a completely different lens. They look at it as a highly situational tool. And when someone's physical capabilities diminish or their financial leverage evaporates, that tool quickly turns into a massive liability.
The liability, wow. And the sources actually paint a super vivid picture of that exact transition for their main target demographic. So picture this. You're looking at older homeowners. Maybe they live in really established upscale Nevada communities, places like Henderson or Summerlin.
Right, the classic Vegas suburbs.
Yeah. And they've lived in this spacious four-bedroom house with a huge yard for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years.
So it's perfect for raising a family.
Exactly. But fast forward to today, the kids are gone. And the sheer mechanics of just maintaining that huge physical space is actively draining their physical energy and honestly their fixed retirement income.
Because the environment around them has shifted, right?
Right.
While the house itself stayed completely static. To understand why that specific house becomes such a burden, you have to look at the mechanical reality of Las Vegas real estate. Buyers out there are relentlessly hunting for modern efficiency.
Oh, like the open floor plans and all that.
Yes, open floor plans, but more importantly, the mechanical guts of the house. I mean, we're talking about a market where summer temperatures constantly sit above 110 degrees.
Oh, man. Brutal.
So a highly energy efficient, modern HVAC system is not some cosmetic luxury. It is a absolute structural necessity.
So if you have an older home running, like a 15-year-old AC unit.
It's a huge financial liability. It'll eat up a massive percentage of a fixed monthly income. So an older property that hasn't seen a deep update in 20 years just cannot compete against new builds without a major capital injection.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Let me use an analogy here. It's kind of like trying to sell a perfectly good 10-year-old smartphone, right?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, like it makes calls just fine, but the market demands the newest camera and the best battery life. But let me ask you to clarify this, based on what the sources say. Is it really just the physical exhaustion of raking a quarter-acre desert yard that drives these retirees to the cash market? Or is it the fear of having to dip into their retirement savings just to make the house sellable?
It's actually a fusion of both. The sources call this the renovation trap.
The renovation trap. Okay, break that down.
Basically, these retirees hit a wall where they have to choose between two really terrible options. Option one, they drain $40, $50, maybe $80,000 of their retirement savings to hire contractors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they have to live through months of construction dust just to overhaul a house they actively want to leave.
Yeah.
Which is a terrible use of capital in your 70s.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with contractors at that stage of life.
Exactly. But then option two is they refuse to spend that money, and they list the aging property as is on the traditional market.
Which means retail buyers are going to negotiate the price down heavily.
Right. The buyers penalize the asking price dollar for every single required upgrade.
So if the renovation trap locks them out of upgrading, and they just decide to brave the open market as if they decide to play that traditional real estate game, they are stepping onto a very specific treadmill.
A very exhausting treadmill.
Yeah. The sources detailed the logistical nightmares of traditional listings, and it sounds awful. You're basically forced to erase your own existence from your house while you're still living inside it.
The psychological toll of that process is a huge theme in the internal data. Once a traditional listing goes live, your private sanctuary is instantly converted into a public showcase.
You have to keep it like a museum.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to maintain absolute perfection. And then complete strangers are just given access to walk through your bedrooms, judge your kitchen cabinets, and poke around your life during these scheduled showings and weekend open houses.
And for an older person who just wants a quiet routine, that has to be so disruptive.
It severely disrupts their fundamental peace of mind. Just having that electronic lockbox on the front door is stressful.
And beyond the privacy costs, there are these massive hidden holding costs, right? Because the traditional escrow process in Nevada usually takes, 30 to 60 days?
30 to 60 days, assuming absolutely perfect conditions.
Right. And during those 2 months, the seller's money is completely trapped, but their expenses just keep flowing out.
The holding costs are relentless. You're bleeding daily property taxes, you're paying hazard insurance, landscape maintenance.
And those massive Las Vegas summer AC bills.
Exactly. You're paying hundreds of dollars just to keep the house freezing cold for potential buyers who might drop by for a 15-minute tour. Every single day that house sits in escrow, your net profit shrinks.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second because I want to play devil's advocate.
Go for it.
The sources themselves actually mention that homeowners can increase their home's value with proven tips, like swapping out a thirsty lawn for desert landscaping or making incremental kitchen updates.
That's true. Those do have high return on investment.
Right. So doesn't that prove the traditional route, even with all the annoying open houses, is ultimately the smartest financial move? Why would anyone willingly surrender their equity to a cash buyer if they could just do a few upgrades and make more money?
It's a great question, but here is the catch. The traditional retail model relies entirely on a variable that the seller cannot control, which is the buyer's financing.
Oh, the mortgage underwriter.
Exactly. Yes. Those targeted upgrades will definitely boost the theoretical value on an appraiser's spreadsheet, but actually getting that money is dependent on a stranger's bank.
Right, because of all the contingencies.
Right. Retail transactions are riddled with financing contingencies. A buyer might have pristine credit, but if their bank flags a minor issue with the old roof on day 45 of the 60-day escrow,
Oh, man.
or, if interest rates tick up slightly and mess up the buyer's debt-to-income ratio, the bank just pulls the loan.
And when the loan dies, the whole deal collapses.
The deal collapses, the property falls out of escrow, and it goes right back onto the active market. Plus, now it has a permanent digital footprint showing a failed sale.
So you reset to day zero.
Day zero. And all the while, those utility bills and property taxes keep draining your actual bank account while you chase this theoretical top dollar price.
Okay, so realizing the immense friction of that open market naturally shifts the conversation to the alternative, right? Bypassing the retail market entirely for a direct cash buyer. Let's talk about how this fast cash trade-off actually works.
The mechanics of it are built entirely around speed and simplicity.
Right. From what the materials say, you sell entirely as is. Absolute no repairs, no exterior painting, zero open houses, just one private evaluation.
And because these firms use pooled private capital or hard money, they bypass banking bureaucracy completely.
So they can close in as little as 7 to 14 days.
7 to 14 days, and with zero traditional agent commissions eating into the price.
That's incredibly fast. But beyond the speed, the expert materials highlight this major tactical advantage for the downsizing demographic, which is the logistics of the cleanout.
Yes, aggressive decluttering.
Right, because downsizing from a big 4-bedroom house into an assisted living facility, or just a small condo, means you have to deal with 30 years of accumulated stuff.
The physical strain of that is a massive barrier. Sorting, packing, trying to move heavy wooden furniture.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to be navigating a heavy sleeper sofa down a hallway in their late 70s.
No, and they don't want to pay a premium for a specialized crew to do it for them either. So the cash buyer model absorbs that friction entirely.
So how does that work? The seller just leaves everything.
Literally. The
Yeah.
contract allows the seller to pack only the high-value things they actually want to keep. The jewelry, family photos, clothes, and they can just abandon the rest of the physical mass in place.
Wait, really? The bulky furniture, the broken appliances in the garage, they just walk away.
They just walk away.
Yeah.
The buyer handles the dumpsters, the junk removal fees, all the physical labor. And the sources point out that this specific perk is often the tipping point for sellers. It instantly removes weeks of intense physical labor and emotional paralysis.
That is wild. And there's a timing thing too, right? Because normally when a house closes, you have to hand over the keys that day and get out.
Yes, but cash buyers offer highly flexible occupancy agreements. The closing date can be timed perfectly to align with the seller's move-in date at a new care facility.
So they aren't paying for two properties at the exact same time.
Exactly. It eliminates those dual carry costs.
So if we look at this, I'm thinking of another analogy. It's basically like trading in your used car to a dealership instead of selling it privately on Craigslist, right?
That is a very accurate comparison.
So by leaving all the junk behind and skipping the repairs, the seller is inherently accepting that the cash offer is going to be lower than their retail dream price. They are essentially paying for the convenience.
Yes, they are. But it requires a shift in priority. It's no longer about squeezing every possible dollar out of a volatile market.
Right.
It's about risk mitigation. They are securing guaranteed liquid funds with zero friction, zero hidden fees, and absolute financial certainty. They want to make sure a sudden glitch in mortgage rates doesn't completely derail their retirement transition.
Okay, that makes perfect sense for retirees. But this cash buyer model isn't just about older folks wanting a smaller yard. The sources pivot to show how these exact same mechanisms, the speed, the as-is purchasing, are used as emergency lifelines for distressed properties.
Yes, the high-stakes side of the market. And the pressure in these scenarios is intense.
We're talking about liquidating an inherited hoarder estate across the country, or navigating a really messy late-in-life divorce, or even dealing with nightmare rental properties where the tenants stop paying and trash the place.
And in Nevada, specifically Clark County, the mechanics of financial distress are brutal, especially when it comes to taxes.
The property taxes, right? Explain how that clock works.
Unpaid property taxes in Clark County generate rapidly growing penalties and interest instantly. And if the owner can't pay that debt, the county initiates a public tax auction.
Where they basically seize the house.
They seize the asset and wipe out the owner's equity completely. And the traditional real estate market, with its 60-day escrows and loan approvals, is just too slow to beat the auction clock.
Wait, let me act as the skeptical listener for a second.
Sure.
If you are behind on your mortgage, or you're in that pre-foreclosure window facing a tax auction, doesn't selling your house to an investor for a discount ruin your credit score anyway? Like, aren't you just trading a public foreclosure for a terrible underwater sale?
It seems like it would, but the sources explain that a fast cash sale actually protects the seller's credit score.
Really? How?
Because the transaction still goes through a licensed title company. The title company intercepts the investor's cash and uses it to immediately pay the tax debt or the outstanding mortgage directly.
Oh, so the seller doesn't even touch the money first to pay the debt.
Right. It requires zero out-of-pocket cash from the seller, it completely settles the debt, and it stops all the collection calls. So compared to a bank seizure, it actually preserves their long-term credit health so they can still rent or buy in the future.
Wow. So the velocity of the cash is literally acting as a shield for their credit.
Exactly. And the sources also briefly mention how cash buyers bypass financing hurdles for really niche markets, too.
Oh, like the mobile homes on leased land.
Yes, that is a fascinating subsector. Because under Nevada law, a mobile home sitting in a park where you don't own the dirt underneath it isn't classified as real estate.
Right, it's considered personal property.
Exactly, chattel. Like a car.
Yeah.
Traditional banks hate financing personal property because the risk is so high.
So you literally can't get a regular mortgage for one.
It's practically impossible, which traps the sellers. They have this asset, but no regular buyer can get a loan to buy it from them. The direct cash buyer steps into that void, completely bypassing the banks, and provides the only reliable way out for those sellers.
So, bringing this all back to you, the listener, we've decoded this massive, high-friction open market and the completely parallel fast cash economy. Whether you are prepping for your own retirement or suddenly having to manage an inherited property, or even if you're just fascinated by how the real estate machine actually works, the big takeaway here is about self-awareness.
That's right.
Choosing how to sell isn't just a cold calculation on a spreadsheet trying to hit the highest number. It's about accurately assessing your time, your physical energy, and your tolerance for pure stress.
Which leaves us with a really provocative thought to consider. Something not explicitly stated in the text, but absolutely born from it.
What's that?
We spend our entire adult lives viewing our home as this permanent, impenetrable fortress. We pour money and deep emotion into it.
Yeah, it's the forever home.
Right. But perhaps finding true financial and emotional freedom in our later years requires a radical psychological shift. We might need to learn to view our forever home not as a monument to our past, but merely as a highly liquid asset, a tool that we must be totally willing to trade in for our future peace of mind.
Oh, wow.
Because if we don't make that shift, we have to ask ourselves, are our dream homes secretly designed to trap us?
Are our dream homes secretly designed to trap us? That is a heavy, heavy thought to end on, but it completely changes the perspective. The next time you're driving and you see one of those "We buy houses for cash" signs on a telephone pole, you won't just see a piece of plastic. You're looking at a multi-million-dollar lifeline for people who just need an out.
Absolutely.
Well, that is all for today's deep dive into the hidden mechanics of real estate. Keep questioning the systems operating just below the surface of your daily life, and we will catch you next time.